Hello, welcome to Point of View. Today we like to talk about the Prime Ministers of New Zealand and Australia. The title is The Smart and Stupid Prime Ministers. Australia's declining trust in politics and politicians paints a vastly different picture to our friends in New Zealand, where voter satisfaction remains high. Trans-Tasman rivalry is normally restricted to either the sporting field or disputes about the origins of various Kiwi successes from Far Lap and the Pavlova to Russell Crowe and Neil Finn. Thanks to Jacinda Ardern and John Key, a new area of competition is emerging politics, and more specifically prime ministers. While relations between China and New Zealand have recently been hot, China-Australia ties have come to a low ebb. In the past year, with political mutual trust repeatedly undermined by the anti-China moves of the government headed by Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison. But what has caused such a huge difference between Australia and New Zealand in their development of relations with China in recent years? With courtesy of telegraph.co.uk. Let us watch. The Prime Minister of New Zealand speaks about China-New Zealand relations on respecting their different perspectives on important issues.
Countries' different histories, different worldviews, and different political and legal systems, New Zealand and China are going to take different perspectives on important issues. We will continue to work these through in a consistent manner, as we have always done. But as Minister Mahuta said last month, we need to acknowledge that there are some things on which China and New Zealand do not, cannot, and will not agree. This need not derail our relationship. It is simply a reality. New Zealand is an open, pluralistic democracy with a focus on transparency and the rule of law. We take a principles-based approach to our foreign policy, and we make our decisions independently, informed by our own assessment of New Zealand's interests and values. In the past year, for example, though, we chose to raise some issues with China in private, but alongside this, we also chose to make public statements with a significant number of other countries and multilateral bodies, such as the Human Rights Council. And at other times, we've chosen to partner with Australia, the UK, the US, and other countries that share our views and values. And sometimes we spoke out alone. We've commented publicly about our grave concerns regarding the human rights situation of the Uyghurs in Xinjiang. And I've raised these concerns with senior Chinese leaders on a number of occasions. You'll know that, as a government, we've also spoken out about continued negative developments with regard to the rights, freedoms and autonomy of the people of Hong Kong. Alongside areas of cooperation that I mentioned earlier, areas where we disagree form part of a comprehensive relationship. Areas of difference need not define a relationship, but equally, they are part and parcel of New Zealand staying true to who we are as a nation. And it will not have escaped the attention of anyone here that as China's role in the world grows and changes, the differences between our systems and the interests and values that shape those systems are becoming harder to reconcile. This is a challenge that we and many other countries across the Indo-Pacific region, but also in Europe and other regions, are also grappling with. As a significant power, the way that China treats its partners is important for us. And we will continue to promote the things that we believe in and support the rules-based system that underpins our collective well-being.
Let us watch 9 News Australia. On the Australia-China relations, when the Prime Minister of Australia's, Scott Morrison, commented that Australia's sovereignty is never for sale.
That's Prime Minister Scott Morrison's blunt message to Beijing as it steps up its trade war on Australia by banning coal exports.
Barley, beef, wine, lobster, timber, cotton, lamb, and now coal.
We have seen further deeply disturbing and concerning reports out of China in the last 24 hours.
Chinese media is reporting Beijing's latest target in its one-way trade war with Australia is $14 billion worth of coal.
These actions, if true, would potentially constitute discriminatory action against Australian producers.
Coal is Australia's second largest resource export, worth $64 billion in 2019, and 21% of that is sold to China.
If a perception emerges that there is a conflation between political issues and a trading relationship, then that can create a lot of uncertainty for many other trading partners.
Beijing's beef with Canberra is political, based on a list of 14 grievances handed to 9 News, all of which demand Australia change its democratic nature if it wants to do business with China. Scott Morrison says he won't be trading that.
Australia's sovereignty is never for sale.
Despite the growing list of trade targets so far, the economy-wide effects here are small. In the first 10 months of this year, Australia's goods exports to China were valued at $121 billion, compared with $123 billion over the same period in 2019. Labor agrees the fault for the bans lies with China, but says the government needs to find a diplomatic solution.
We're having a game plan for a much more assertive China on the world stage, working with allies and aligned nations to deal with this.
Beijing's thuggish diplomacy could backfire because it's making enemies all around the world, and that's driving nations to forge new alliances and ponder how they push back. Chris Ullman, 9 News.
We have come to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Let us know the videos you like and leave your comment below. We have regular videos, so be sure to hit the red button below.